Thank you for joining me here today. We're going to do another solo play of Imperial Settlers, Empires of the North. We are going to be playing the Glen clan. This is going to be another attempt on the green screen. This time I decided to try a different color and some different lighting to see if I could fix issues that I ran into with the previous green screen. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. I'm just going to do the same solo scenario. We're going to go ahead and just do the winter is coming again. This time with Glen clan. These are the Glen clan pieces that you have, your ships with your point marker. We start with the white lock, which makes fish. We start with the old forest for wood. We start with the marble mound for stone. And sorry if there's any glare. Like I said, we're trying different lighting. I tried to put non-glare sleeves on these also to kind of cut a little bit of the glare off. Since these are our starting things, we start with those resources. And this time I do have my improved resources from Stonemaier Games. So there's my 2 stone, my 2 wood. And I didn't bring the fish out, so I guess we're going to go with the fish that come with the game. And there's my fish. Another part of setup for the winter is coming is I get to start with an additional 3 food. My 3 food. And just a refresher for the winter is coming. Information about the winter struck you suddenly. It's supposedly the harshest winter of them all. There's no time to waste. We need to prepare for the worst. So yep, different setup change. As an action, I can spend 2 people at any time as one of my actions to gain 1 fish. And I can do this any number of times. At the end of the game, before I add up any victory points, which remember I have to hit a 30-point threshold, which means I have to have more than 30 points. Let's hope I don't mess up the scoring like I did last time by doing some little stuff that I definitely was not able to do because I guess wasn't ready for it, whatever. But before I do any points to see if I win, I have to feed all my people. I have to have a food and or a fish for each person in my empire. For each that am not able to feed, I lose 3 victory points. So we'll try to make sure that don't happen. The buried pantry, it's another action building that I have. This one can only be done once per turn, which in the solo game you only get 4 turns. But with this I can spend 1 stone, 1 food, and 1 fish to gain 4 victory points. And then we have the scenario events. And just like with the previous one that I kind of ran through, I will not keep the track marker on this. I like to use these as just the turn marker and just put it here, 1 through 4. I know these are supposed to be the randomizers you use to figure out which scenario event happens each time. You're supposed to just kind of mix them up and pull one randomly. I like to roll a dice, and so that's what I will do. You know, just using 1, 2 is 1, 2, 3, so forth. Yep. Oh, let's put turn 1 there. All right, let's see the islands for the first turn. So here's the first island. Which island? I can pillage it for 2 victory points, or as an if I conquer it as an action, I can spend 1 resource to gain any 1 resource. Can be helpful if there's a resource that's hard to get for this faction. And we have erupting volcano. Spend any 2 resources to gain 1 victory point and choose 1 opponent to lose a victory point. Turtleback, spend 1 fish to explore. And Jurassic Island, move your clan action pawn to an adjacent action tile. All right, let's go ahead and look at my first selection. I'm drawing my 5 cards right now. And for my starting hand, I get to pick 3 of these. So one of them is Balloon Exploration. Unexhaust 1 copy card and draw 1. Copy card. Must be something to this faction. Like I said, part of me having fun with the games, I never look at the faction ahead of time and I never play them or read the cards. So this will be a learning experience with me. Probably make for a longer game. I'll just try to cut out the extra stuff. Williams Farm. As an action, I can spend 1 wood and 1 stone to populate and gain a victory point. Another balloon exploration. So there's 2 copies in the deck, and I happen to draw both copies. Riding the monster. So it mentions about that copy thing. Feature copy of a, looks like a little bench or something, which is not on the other cards I noticed. So must be something in the deck still. And the last one is another field. And you know what? Since I have a 30-point threshold, I'm going to put the little black meeple on the 30 points so I know that's my goal. So the 3 I'm going to choose to keep are going to be the neighborhood ice cream shop for the field, the thing that lets me populate and get victory points, and then since it talks about the copy thing, even though I did just get rid of a thing that copies, I don't really see what it's going to do yet. So, and there's only 2 of each in the decks, so I decided to keep 1 of that and hope I can just hit that other copy thing. So that's my starting, and now we're just going to move on into the first lookout phase. Draw 4 cards. So I drew a crossroads, which is an action. I could spend wood to gain a victory point. Additionally, I may play 1 boost from my hand. We got the small market, which is an action to spend a dude to gain a gold. I drew another riding the monster, and then I drew one of my rares, Camel Abduction. As an action, I can spend a dude and a food to draw the top card from an opponent's discard pile. Treat this card as your own until the end of the game. So I just looked into that, and basically I had to go grab another deck and shuffle it up so that I can have a discard pile. So that one might be a good one to do. So the one I grabbed is the Panuk clan, or Panuk. I'm sure I'll mispronounce these, but I'm pretty sure it's Panuk. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry. I'm very bad at pronunciation. With my Texas draw. All right, so here we go. I shuffle these up, flip them over. So that is what is on the discard pile. So if I build that one building, I basically get to, as an action, add this card to my hand, and then I can build that, which is I can build an ice ship, which is an action to spend 1 dude and 1 food or 1 fish to sell and gain a victory point. Kind of like it. Probably gonna have to build it. Put that back on the discard pile for now, because the way this works for the lookout phase is each of these cards I want to keep, I have to pay one of my people, or as I refer to them throughout this, because I just do it during Imperial Settlers as dudes. Yeah, I have to pay one of my people to keep each card I want to keep. So I like the idea of being able to, the Camo Abduction, I like the idea of being able to build that ice ship. So I'm definitely going to keep that one. This is my second one, keeping that one. Spending 1 to turn it into a gold, keeping that one. I'm going to go ahead and let go of the crossroads though. So I'm keeping 3, I have to pay 3 people. Last thing to do during the lookout phase is figure out which event happens. 10, which is number 5, which is Cold Nights. I spend 1 sheep or exhaust 1 field location. So what exhausting a field location does is it means I cannot get stuff from it. I think for the first turn, I'll exhaust the fish because I have a lot of cards that require wood and stone, so I'm probably going to be trying to get a bunch of that. All right, we move into it and start doing actions now. Well, like I said, I really like the idea of the Camo Abduction, so I think that's the first one I'm going to build. So in order to build that, I need to get a wood and I need to get a stone so that I can do this action and go ahead and get that ice ship and possibly build it. So there's my wood, there's my stone, and we build Camo Abduction. And then I'm going to go ahead and spin my deuter and spin the food, exhaust it to go ahead. And I'm going to do like I did in the previous one where I'm just going to have a stack of exhausted. And really, let's go ahead and just start saving space here. And start stacking these, because I can see the field's fine. So yes, I did that to draw the top card from the discard pile of the opponent's discard pile, which I'll show again, is the ice ship. The new one on the discard pile is now nearby fields. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and build Williams Farm. It takes me a stone, but this will let me be able to populate and get more people, which looks like this faction may need a lot of people. There's my 1 stone. And I build Williams Farm. I'm gonna use my first action pawn to harvest. And I'm gonna choose the marble mound so I can get me 2 stone. Then I'm gonna activate Williams Farm with a stone and a wood. To populate and gain a victory point, I'm gonna go ahead and gain that victory point now because I don't wanna forget about it. Because I populated with Williams Farm, that allows me to build the neighborhood ice cream shop. And since I do not have a food field, this is just gonna be a food field. Next, I'm gonna build the small market so I can maybe get that gold to get that fish that I want so I can build that other building. So I need 1 stone. And there's my small market. Then I'm gonna go ahead and spend a deuter. Tap this to gain a gold. So I went ahead and stack these to save on space. There's my exhausted cards. I also noticed that when I populated earlier, I got so wrapped up in cleaning up this area, I forgot to finish out the populate. So there's my extra person for doing that. I'm gonna use a food to move this over to construct so I can construct for free. Building I'll construct will be the ice ship. I'm gonna go ahead and do the action with the ice ship, which is spend a dude and a fish to sell and gain 1 victory point. So I gain 1 victory point and I get to sell. So I'm gonna get 1 of these during the exploration phase. I'll just put it here in the middle. And right now I don't have a raid token, I don't have fish, so it won't be a distance, so it'll be 1 of these. I'm gonna use my action pawn on the explore action to draw a card where I drew Mystic Land, another one of my rares. I can copy any card in my empire. We're gonna spend a food to flip this over and sell, which we'll put another 1 of these out. And I will go ahead and treat this gold like a fish so that we can get 1 of the distant ones. So we're gonna get 1 regular and 1 distant. And with that, I think my actions are done. There's not really anything else I can do. So we're gonna move on to the explore phase. This is just victory points. This is a victory point in 2 wood. So I'm actually gonna use this one to pillage the erupting volcano, which gives me 2 wood and a victory point. And a victory point. I think I'm gonna take the pillage to gain. I think I'm gonna do the Jurassic Island for the distant one, which is 2 fish, a wood, and a victory point. So a victory point, a wood, and 2 fish. All right, so we move on to the cleanup phase. Sorry, just realized for some reason I only have 5 here. I should have 6 because I did populate with that card. And I don't know if I just threw it off somewhere or shucked it. I don't know what I did, like an idiot. All right, so first thing is cleanup phase, get my people back, unexhaust all my cards. Take my clan action pawns back. Now, in the solo, wherever you take your pawns from, you actually have to flip them over. And they actually become more expensive in order to pull them off. Discard these. And let's look at the new islands for round 2 is what we're basically going to move into after we do the islands. So we can go to Shark Island. Lets me spend a person. If I could gain this, I could spend a person to gain a raid token, which would be cool because it let me conquer more. Then we got Fragmented Glacier, which is an action to spend a deuter to gain a stone. Then we have the Little Fort. Lets me construct. And the Beauty Naze lets me get 2 of my workers back, but I have to have a way to get sheep. All right, we move to the lookout phase, where the first thing I do is draw 4 cards. So the first one I drew was competition. As an action, I can spend wood and food to gain 2 victory points and retrieve a worker. Stronghold, there's that symbol I was looking for so that I can copy finally from the card from my hand with the riding the monster. I can copy that if I want to. I can turn stone into victory points. Got Riparian Trader. So if I explore, I can spend up to 3 different resources to gain gold for each. So I can just turn my resources into gold so I can use them as anything. And there's another one of those tables to spend a dude to gain a victory point or move a copy to any other card. All right, so looking at the cards I have, I think I'm gonna let go of the Stronghold, but I'm gonna keep the other 3. So that cost me 3 people. And then now we do the event 9. So it's the same one, which was Cold Nights, spend a sheep or exhaust a field location. No, I was supposed to unexhaust this, but I think I'm gonna exhaust it. Oh no, I got a lot of wood. I don't really need a lot of wood, and that fish may become needed. So we're gonna exhaust the old forest. Got a feeling I'm gonna do these actions out of order and regret it later, but let's just go ahead and do it now because it's what I see available for me. I'm gonna use my small market, so I'm gonna use a person to gain a gold. And then I'm gonna use my camel abduction, which is a person and a gold, or a food. I'm using the gold as the food to draw the top card from the opponent's discard pile, which was that nearby fields. Hoping this pans out for me to be able to get that gold. Gold. So I'm gonna use the wood to build that nearby fields now. Let's go ahead and look at what's on the discard pile now for next turn. It's an action I can turn wood to unexhaust a card or gain a victory point. All right, we're gonna use a person and a fish to activate the nearby fields, which lets me harvest and additionally gain a gold. I'm gonna harvest my marble mound, which gives me 2 stone. Then I'm gonna activate my Williams Farm, which takes a stone and a wood. Oh, almost forgot to get my gold from the nearby fields for doing that harvest. But anyways, we'll do this. That lets me populate and gain a victory point, so I don't forget like I did with the gold. I'm gonna gain my victory point. As I do that populate action, I actually would have done this. I'm assuming I don't have to have one unexhaust. It doesn't say unexhaust. It says unexhaust a copy and draw a card. I'm just gonna use it to draw a card, which I drew Skillful Crew, which has another symbol I have not seen yet. And go ahead and populate, which gives me another mouth to feed later. All right, so let's move this to the exhausted stack. Gonna use a wood to build my Easter Island because I can. I'm gonna use a stone to build the competition, just to give me more options. All right, we're gonna do the explore action, which lets me draw a card. There's the symbol I was missing. This is a championship, which can get me a lot of victory points. But before I drew, I should have actually boosted, is what the main reason I was exploring. I'm basically boosting this. And what I want to copy is this nearby fields, since it lets me copy any card in my empire. So I'm copying this nearby fields. I feel like that can get me more resources. I mean, harvesting for free seems good. And I'm going to go ahead and activate the copy by spending a person and a fish Oh, that must have been what I did last time. Person and a fish to harvest, and additionally gain gold. So I don't forget about the gold that I was supposed to gain last time. And then now I get to harvest. Make sure I have no boost for the harvest. I do not. So that is tapped. I'm going to choose to harvest the wood. So there's a wood. There's a wood. I'm going to choose to activate the competition card, which is spend a wood. And I'm going to use the gold as food to gain 2 victory points and retrieve a worker. So 2 victory points, retrieve a worker. I'm going to go ahead and use my other action pawn to explore again. So I get the naval battle. I can spend 2 people to get the raid token and a fish. So I'm going to use a dude on Easter Island, spend 1 to gain 1 victory point or move a copy. I'm just going to gain the victory point. I'm actually going to build naval battle. There's my wood for naval battle. I'm going to use the gold as food to populate, which is going to give me another person. And I'm just going to use the person to build championships for an extra point really at the end of the game. And maybe I might end up doing that if I have a ton of resources. And with that, we will call that a turn. There's no ships, so there's nowhere to explore. So we move on to the cleanup where we get our people back. All right. I think when I do my count, I'm pretty sure I should have 8. I keep throwing my guys back. I got to stop doing that. But all right, so we did that. We get rid of these. We unexhaust everything. This one I have to be careful about because it does have a copy on it. Try to fan these out to where I could see everything that I could do. New islands are Holy Land, Shipwreck Shore, Dodo Paradise, and Abandoned Granary. All right, let's see if I can manage not to mess all this up again. I retrieve these, which make these more expensive. But now sell and construct are cheaper. Not seeing how I'm gonna get that food by the end of the game, but we will see where we go. We go to turn 3. Draw the 4 cards. So I can copy a building. Or now I can harvest, which I can do with, same with this, but it gives me gold. So probably won't take that one. And that one lets me spend a person and a stone to get the raid token, which I already set up to get with people. Spend a wood and discard a card to take any nearby island and immediately add it to your empire. That could be pretty cool. Since I have cards that do these already, I'm going to go ahead and discard those. I'm going to go ahead and discard the Coastal Fortress also. I'm only going to keep 1 card. So it's only going to cost me 1 person. And let's hope something, well, most likely I'm going to lose something here. Oh my goodness, sheep or exhaust a field again. Man, I'm pretty sure I messed that up because I'm pretty sure I went ahead and got wood even though I didn't think I needed it. Wow. Definitely probably gonna need the wood this turn. I don't see anything that needs stone unless I want to do the populate action, which would be cool, but I can get gold to do that. So we are going to tap Marble Mound and keep my options open on the food options here. So first thing we're going to activate is Small Market, which is spend a dude to get a gold. So there's my dude, get my gold. Then I'm going to activate the copy of Nearby Fields, just a dude and a fish to harvest. And I'll choose the White Lock to get a fish for my harvest. And then I also additionally get a gold. And so that I can tap both of these, I'm going to go ahead and activate the other one also, which is spend a person and a fish. Oh, I almost did it again. To harvest and additionally gain a gold. I'm going to go and get a gold so I don't forget. And choose a fish again. I'm going to go ahead and activate my Naval Battle, which lets me spend 2 people to gain a raid token and a fish. I'll go ahead and spend my first pawn, the harvest. I'm going to choose the Old Forest. I should stop thinking about that and start looking at getting food for end game, but okie dokie dealio, I am an idiot. All right. I'm actually going to use the wood to build that shipyard, which allows me to spin the wood and discard 1 to take any nearby island and immediately add it to my empire. So I actually just went and looked at the frequently asked questions. I misread this card as far as like when it says discard a card, I was assuming 1 from hand. It is not from hand, it is actually from your board. So I'm actually going to activate the shipyard by spinning a wood. I'm going to discard the championships to gain Holy Land. Oh, I'm tapping this anyways. I don't know why I'm making this hard. To gain Holy Land, which lets me spend a person to gain a card. So if I do this and this, all for this sell card here, which means I'm going to need another fish, what will that net me? So I know I'm doing this. Let's go ahead and do this one. I'm going to spend a fish and a person to activate the ice ship, which lets me sell and gain a victory point. So I don't forget my victory point. There's my victory point. It's going to let me sell. And we'll be putting this on this because I want to gain this abandoned granary. I'm going to use a person on the Holy Land. So this is tapped. Lets me gain a card, which I gained Neighborhood Ice Cream Shop, which definitely makes my next decision very easy because I was debating if I wanted to hold on to the gold or not. So I'm going to use gold as wood and stone to populate and gain a victory point. So I don't forget the victory point. I'm going to go ahead and gain my victory point. I'm going to populate, which we already saw. I'm going to boost it to upgrade this. And I get to populate, which is going to give me another person. So I'm going to use this pawn to harvest and choose the Neighborhood Ice Cream Shop, which means I get the upgrade, so I get 2 food. Yeah, actually, we are going to use a food to move this over to construct. And we're going to copy Easter Island. And we're going to use a food to do construct again. Sorry, you probably saw cards change here. It's because I was flipping through it to see if I want what my options were. Is I'm going to construct something for free from my hand, and it's going to be riding the monster, which is going to let me copy the shipyard. So, and then I'll go ahead and use one of my dudes to use the copy of Easter Island to gain a victory point. And that's going to be it for the turn. And we're going to move to explore, where I'm going to take the abandoned granary. So these go away. And the abandoned granary gives me a fish and a stone. And then I get to add it. We'll clean all this up here during cleanup. And I'm gonna go ahead and move these out of the way, even though I know it's supposed to be cleanup because it's done. All right, so we're at cleanup. I get all my duders back. Everything untaps. So that's a copy of this. That's a copy of this. This faction is making it really, really hard for me to be able to have a player board that makes a lot of sense. Because I got to make sure I know about this copy. I'm just going to put them right here. All right. Now I got my 2 islands. All right. So I have all that. These come back to me. Construct becomes more expensive. These become cheaper. And we're going to the 4th turn, which will be the final turn. I need to get a lot of food. I'm gonna need 9 food to feed all these guys. All right, so let's see. Occult Grounds and Flying Dutchman, or Flying Dutchman, and Fairy Island, and Observation Post. So the cards I drew, the fishing thing. I forgot to untap this. The fishing, that would make Whitelock better. I could use that for some food. Combat monster, spend a fish and stone to gain a victory point and gold. And then Robinson, copy of a conquered island. That could be pretty good with the abandoned granary. Risky expedition. Discard 1 card from your hand to gain a gold and a victory point. Okay, because of the number of cards I have out in play and my victory points that I'm at, I actually am right at 30, which is the threshold. So as long as I make sure I don't mess up and I can get all the food I need to feed my people, everything else I can use to basically just get me more points. I should hit the threshold. I would like to try to at least beat 40, because I think, like I said, I realized I scored wrong in the first game that I did in the previous solo playthrough, which I'll put down in the comments. There was definitely, I had way too many sheep. And I think when I went back and really looked at it all, I should have had about 40 still. That's going to be my goal, is just try to get more than 40. It probably would have been less because I used the sheep to do things, but it's hard to go backwards and look. So looking at these, I'm going to get rid of Combat Monster. It turns the food into food and get victory points, but I'm not really looking for victory points. So I'm going to keep 3 cards. So 1, 2, 3. And last random action for event is 6, which is exhaust 1 field location. Man, This cold, frozen land and cold nights has been shutting down all my resources. Do we choose Marble Mound again? I think we do. We just choose Marble Mound again. I'll just cover it up for now so I know not to use it. I just realized I'm not going to have enough people to do that thing twice. 3 people. Oh, up to 3. So, actually, yeah, it sucks that I didn't notice that until now. Just not really counting because I wouldn't have taken Robinson. Instead, we're going to go ahead and explore. Before I draw my card, I am going to boost it to add fishing to my white lock. And then I draw my card. It just lets me copy because I am going to use the copy of the nearby field, which is use a person and a food to harvest and additionally gain the gold. So I don't forget to gain the gold. I'm gonna give myself the gold and then harvest. And I'm gonna choose the white lock. So it gives me 1 plus the upgrade. And then I'm going to activate the nearby fields again. Oh, I almost threw my dude away again. To do the same thing. Actually, I'm gonna take the, I'm gonna use the harvest for the 2 wood. Because I have a card in my hand that I've held from the whole beginning. We're gonna use another action pawn to explore. I'm gonna boost it with the Barbarian Trader. It lets me spend up to 3 different resources to gain 1 gold for each. So we're going to 1, 2, 3, turn the stone and 2 wood into 3 gold. I guess it didn't matter if I'd done the 2 wood, I could have done it as food. And just turn them into gold, which can be used as food. So I just want a lot of gold. The Explorer is for the brave sailors. I can spend 2 people to sail. So I'm gonna use a gold as a wood to build Risky Expedition, which is the one that lets me discard a card from my hand to gain a victory point and a gold. So I'm gonna go ahead and activate that, and I'll just discard the one I just mentioned, the Brave Sailors. So I gain a gold and a victory point. I basically just did a roundabout way just to gain a victory point. And another one for building that. I'm going to spend a person to activate Easter Island. I'll activate this Easter Island, the copy of Easter Island. So I'm just going to slide it underneath there so I don't think it's not exhausted. But I'm going to activate that, which lets me move a copy to any other card, but I have to keep the same featured thing. So I'm actually going to move the copy, the Riding the Monster, from the shipyard to underneath Risky Expeditions. But then I'm going to activate that copy, which is discard a card to gain a gold and a victory point. So I'll discard Coastal Fortress to gain a victory point and a gold. Oh my goodness, why can't I grab the gold? There we go. All right, let's start putting these in order so I can figure out, make sure I'm gonna have enough food. So if I make sure to spend this and this on the ice ship. All right, I'm just trying to figure out what to do with this one dude because I think everything else should be fine because I can use him to get the last one I'm gonna need here. And when I pillage that, that's gonna give me everything. Oh, I'm gonna look for a wild card option. I'm going to spend it to use the Holy Land to let me gain a card. It's cool, but all right, let's just go ahead and just end it now. So we're going to use the ice ship. Make sure, I hope I didn't mess it up, but spend a person and a fish. I'm not going to worry about tapping it because this is going to be sell and then get some stuff. So spend 1 and 1 fish. Well, I guess the proper thing is to tap it, whatever. And this is exhausted too. To sell and gain a victory point. I'm going to give myself the victory point so I don't forget about it. I'm going to go ahead and sell. I'm going to boost the sell just because I can. To copy, doesn't matter what I copy. I'm going to copy the Holy Land just for the reason of just wanting to copy it. So, hey. So I copied the Holy Land. And now I sell. Which, since we're going for this one anyways, the occult ground, I don't care. That's where we're going. And then use my last person, up to 3 people to gain 1 resource from up to 3 different fields. I'm going to go ahead and just gain food. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, and 8, 9. That should be all my things. So we are done. Yes, we are done. All right. Move to explore. I pillage this, which gives me a victory point and 2 fish. And there really isn't another cleanup phase, so let's figure all this out now. All right, I'm gonna discard this. This was left up to my hand. I'm just gonna pile all these up because they're worth a victory point each. Which should put me well over the threshold. And I'll go through when I'm editing and see if I made any other mistakes. I mean, I guess the proper thing is, it was unexhaust, that flips over, this flips over. Before we score up any points, it tells me I need to make sure I feed each of my people. 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm gonna see if I'm supposed to have more people, but I just would have planned it a little bit different if I did. We're supposed to have them, but there's my 9. Food to feed all my people. All right. So all my people are fed. All right. Let's figure out the victory points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So puts me at 37. I have no gold. I have no resources left over. So my final score is 37. Well, I'll see if I made any mistakes here. We'll see how the green screen went this time. Or I guess the orange screen, as I used an orange. And you'll probably see that depending on as I get used to the program. If it was a little blotchy during this, well, I'm learning as I go, guys. But thanks for watching the video. I swear one of these times it'll be sped up. I'm not sure how I felt about this one. The copying thing was kind of cool, but I really liked the last clan about the assign more. This one, I don't know. This is supposed to be the easiest one to play. Really, I guess it was pretty easy, especially being able to just take other people's stuff from their discard piles and whatnot. I don't know. It was cool. It was different. I don't know if I enjoyed it as much as I thought I would. Definitely did not enjoy it as much as I did the other ones. But we'll try this out with some other factions and just see how different they are. But thank you for watching and have a great day.